In February 2019, three teams of brave golfers, the Moncton Mulligans, the Moncton Magpies and the Durham Divots, assembled at the Oxfordshire Golf Club for 2 days of intense golfing battle. Defending champions the Moncton Mulligans were big favourites with the bookies coming into this year's edition of the Hackers Cup, but as all the teams gathered on the first tee on the first morning of play, it was all to play for. Fittingly, in surprisingly balmy February conditions, it was the favourites who got things underway, and they looked impressive right from the very off.
Bounce it left.
Buoyed by the presence of a last-minute convict recruit, the Moncton Magpies followed the Mulligans out of the starters' gates, and they were determined to win their first ever Hackers Cup. But it was the Durham Divots who carried the most intrigue with them coming into this year's Cup. Boosted by the addition to their ranks of the reigning Hackers Masters champion, Simeon Bridgewater, their chances looked much more favourable than they did 12 months ago. Sadly though for the Divots, it seems that individual success doesn't always translate into the team arena, and they found this out quite early. Enter bunker Fearing's James Sharland, who did his absolute best to hold things together on day one, while those around him crumbled somewhat.
Yes! How did that happen? Woohoo! Did that land in? Yeah, it did.
Despite a promising start, Jack Hayward quickly settled into his Hackers shoes, and he was joined by Simeon Bridgewater and David Munro, who also offered little to no support to Sharland.
Fuck.
Despite the considerable distraction of all the hacking going on around him, Sharland continued to plough on with an impressive display. But despite his best efforts and fist pumps, it was a thankless task, and the Durham Divots were left to drown their sorrows at the end of the opening day's play.
Fuck.
The post-round debriefs made it abundantly clear that the Durham Divots were firmly locked in last place, with the Moncton Magpies in second, and leading the way once again were the defending champions, the Mulligans.
Winning formula, winning up the guns, 6 rounds. We don't play a part.
But just when it seemed the Divots were the day's big losers, just before nightfall, another one emerged.
I'm so sorry, but that was a shandy.
Straight off! You've got to see that off! It's a broken one!
Great weather once again greeted the competitors on day 2, and despite some sore heads amongst the group, spirits were dangerously high going into the second day's play, just as they'd been the night before.
This is February. I'm in a t-shirt. This is beautiful. Going away, a bit of golf. Managed a good bit of hacking as well. You want to see too good at golf. You want to see lots of hacks. You want to see people fall right, fall left. It's the main thing. But yeah, it's a good weekend for the chaps to get out and play a bit of golf really.
I think the Divots really got let down by their captain. I think Jack Hayward showed terrible leadership and terrible form, and if he just pulls himself together we might do a bit better today.
Feeling a little bit better for the fact that I think Chris Antros had a very, very heavy night. Phil and I, actually the only pair to have competed together in every round of the Hackers event ever. So yeah, don't see any reason why we won't be looking at a Mulligan's retention at the end of the rounds today.
When I win, and when the Divots win, it's going to be the greatest moment of our sporting career. Brett's going to be extremely proud of me. I'm sure she'll take it very well. I think she'll want to hear all about it, hole by hole, shot by shot.
We're pretty confident. Smashing yesterday as we did, and the returning champions obviously as well. It's hard to. The bookies find it hard to look past us. The Divots got a lot of making up to do, but miracle of Medina and all that. But I just don't see it personally.
Despite the overconfidence of the leaders, the Divots and the Moncton Magpies simply had to believe they could pull off a shock victory. And it was the Magpies who looked most likely, as their Aussie import continued to impress.
That's it, mate.
Holy mother of fuck.
going in the fucking hole.
This extra firepower helped them secure an invaluable half point against Divots pair Bridgewater and Charland. Much to the disgust of all onlookers, and fueled by old moot, John Newport turned in around the mark of 80. And the limp performances of David Munro and Jack Hayward provided no competition. And on the 15th green, Lawson wrapped up the match with a spectacular 40-yard sand save.
I mean, it started off pretty badly. Went left into the bunker. Wasn't great for me. Newps went relatively right, didn't you?
It was in play.
It was in play. Had a pretty good bunker shot from there. Laid up probably within 6 foot of the hole, I'd say. And then Poops did the same. Just laid up nice and tightly in there. And then all the pressure was on the divots. And fortunately, we beat them. Really. Sorry, Dave.
I played to win. You know, it's what we're here for. Win that awesome trophy. Bring it back
to the motherland.
Oh yeah.
Bringing up the rear on the final day were Merton and Dormel, locked in a tense battle against Pizzy and Antrobus of the Magpies.
It's off.
But ultimately, it was the Mulligans pair who prospered,
Come on, have the guns.
bringing it home with a 2-1 victory to seal a truly historic victory in a fantastic edition of the Hackers Cup.
Proud of my boys. Up the guns.
Well done, guys. Excellent hacking. Excellent hacking.
Give it a kiss. Kiss that ass.
Have a kiss. Have a kiss.
The 2018-2019
They've never lost a
winners.
point. They've never lost a point.
They've never dropped a point.
Just a quick bit of reaction from the group. What does it mean to you to win the Hackers Cup for the second year running?
It means everything to us. To win this 2 years in a row is just fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, 5 more years of dominance and we'll be alright.
Oh, yeah.
Too much cheating.
Expected but still special.
Very proud of the boys.
Very proud of the
day
boys.
one
Yeah.
and day 2.
Yeah. Never dropped
Bring
a
on
point. I don't know if that was
2020.
mentioned.
There it is. That's a good ending. I like that.
May the shanks, slices, tops and duffs continue as rivalries are renewed in 2020.